Hello, everyone, and welcome back once again to Wizard World Virtual Experiences as the crowd emojis wildly. You can also applaud from the comfort and safety of your home. We are bringing that Comic-Con life to you, streaming this panel completely free and live on Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube, trying to recreate that Comic-Con experience. We know 2020 was a tough year, and especially for physical conventions for our artists, our vendors, our talent, all of the employees. And you know, we're trying to do our best job here with Wizard World Virtual Experiences. We've done over 180 of these virtual panels with some of your favorite cast members from your favorite TV shows, films, both classic and modern. And we're so excited to join you each and every weekend. This is our final panel of 2020. We can't wait to launch into 2021. It's going to be a while before we get back to large physical convention shows, but we're going to continue this virtual experience for all of you. So thanks for being here. I'm already stoked. There are so many people hanging out in the chat. I cannot wait to bring this next gentleman out in just a few moments, but first, some quick housekeeping things. Don't forget, you can follow our schedule on wizardworldvirtual.com. Again, that's wizardworldvirtual.com to see all of the upcoming events. And we can also go to the Wizard World Vault. Again, that's wizardworldvault.com, where you can purchase those one-on-one video chats, video recorded messages, autographs, and works of art from our favorite artists and vendors. So head to wizardworldvault.com. We've got all kinds of crazy holiday deals going on. Join us this next Monday when myself and Kato Kalin, along with the folks from Immortal Studios, are going to be giving away crazy memorabilia and signed works of art for low prices. That's our QVC style Vault Bonanza that happens on Monday. But here we go. Without further ado, we got people talking about Joel Wedier says, my popcorn is ready. I'm so excited for this. We've got people speaking in Turkish and in French in the chat right now. This is crazy. We have folks watching from around the US, but also around the globe for one of the best sci-fi series of the last 4 or 5 years, everybody. I know it started in 2018 with season 1. We got 2019. We had a little bit of a break, but we were so excited for the final season 3 of Lost in Space. Let us bring out the main character from said show. He began his acting career at age 8 in 2013 in ABC's Betrayal. We also saw him on Sense8 and the film A Family Man. But since 2008, he has appeared as Will Robinson in Lost in Space, and it is no danger to bring out Will Robinson right now. Please welcome to the virtual stage. Give it up for Maxwell Jenkins.
Hi, everybody. How's it going?
Max, what's up, buddy? Thanks for being here.
Oh, I'm so stoked to be here, man. It's given me an excuse to talk with other people outside of masks, I guess, if this counts.
It totally counts. We were talking a little bit beforehand, Max, before we started the panel. You mentioned you loved going to Comic-Cons in the past, and how this was super exciting that we have this kind of virtual version of it. What are you most excited about in terms of kind of reaching out to your fans through this new medium?
Oh man, I'm really excited about everything. Oh, there goes my news spotlight. If you just heard that,
that's okay.
I'm really looking forward to. I would say I'm really looking forward to the virtual meetings one-on-one with everybody. Yeah. Just because I've done those once before, and it turned out to be really fun, and I got to know a lot of people who I'm actually have a relationship with in real life now. So I'm really looking forward to that.
That's so cool. Well,
Mac, don't feel hurt, Mike.
You're like, once we get through this panel portion, I'm really excited to meet the real fans one-on-one.
Once we get this over with.
This is the sales, though, for your one-on-ones, Maxwell. That's the whole point of it. Now, we're so excited just to talk to you about the show. We have folks watching from around the world, obviously across the U.S., but also Vancouver, Canada, Switzerland, Italy, Netherlands, Turkey, Argentina, Ohio, Texas, California, New York, in the U.S. Paris, France is watching. Bronwyn Evans said, "This will be amazing. I woke up at 5 a.m. to watch it in Australia." So Bronwyn is watching Australia. And then Dashy93 said, watching from Alpha Centauri. So.
Oh, yep. I hope that we get to see you guys soon on Alpha Centauri.
Yeah, I know. No spoilers. No spoilers. No spoilers.
No spoilers. No spoilers.
We need to figure out how Dashi got there, because that's what the Robinson family's trying to figure out. So,
like,
yeah.
Come on, tell us the secret, man.
Talk a little bit. What an amazing series. I remember when the rumblings were happening back in, like, I guess 2016, 2017, that they were going to be bringing back Lost in Space. And I was a huge fan of the original TV show. I actually really liked the movie. I think the 90s movie, I think it had a fun, like, sort of cult feel to it. And then the series was announced, and we were like, oh my gosh, like, we're getting another version of this. And it was a hit. It was a huge hit overnight on Netflix, which happens so quickly because, everybody binge watches it. Did you know at the time, what was it like experiencing first filming, but then when it became an instant success, like within 24 hours on Netflix? What was that feeling like at the time?
Oh, gosh, I mean, for me, the way I look at it is, like, the filming is the really amazing part of Lost in Space. Like, that is the part where, I've met my family while filming, my family. And so everything that follows is really bonus. But it's always nice to see that the heart, soul, blood, sweat, tears that you put into something like Lost in Space. It's really nice to see it, bring other people joy as it brought you joy. So Lost in Space has meant really the world to me. And it's really nice to know that doing Lost in Space has also meant something to other people. So I guess that's what was really the, oh my gosh, part of Lost in Space for me.
That's so cool. I mean, my gosh, fans from around the world, they're still checking in. We've got folks now tuning in. Luisa from Portugal, Brazil, Saudi Arabia, Hong Kong, also watching.
Astronaut, just so you know. She's going to be Portugal's astronaut.
Oh, do you know Luisa?
Yeah, I know Luisa.
Oh, my gosh. Talk about these fans. My gosh, there are fan sites, like crazy amounts of them for this show. Shout out specifically to only Maxwell Jenkins and Lost in Space Designs for their work in promoting this panel. But we also have Lost in Space with a dot in between the A and the C. We have Maxwell Lost in Space. Bananas. Again, you've got fans from around the world that are not only obsessed with Lost in Space, but you specifically, Maxwell Jenkins, as an actor. What is it like to know that there are these fans tuning in right now from across the globe?
Gosh, I mean, I'm really just thankful for each and every one of the members of the fandom. It's just honestly the greatest feeling to have, not only because you guys watch the show and you love the show, but also because you guys have been so supportive of me and my entire family. Filming a TV show is no small feat, especially for your family. They do have to make a lot of sacrifices for you to be able to come out here and do what you love. And I couldn't be more appreciative of this fandom and how much they've supported my sister and my mom and my dad and the circus. A lot of them have probably heard the circus that my parents run and that I grew up in, and you guys have all been so supportive of everything. So it's really just nice to know that not only do they love the show, but they're also really good people.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's a good point. For those that don't know, and such an awesome fact, you have a very famous Chicago circus family that also travels around. Have a lot of the fans of you as a family of acrobats followed you into the Lost in Space fandom?
Yeah, well, what's nice about the circus is because it's, we bring in these really high level acrobats from all around the world. I guess I should explain the circus first. It's called the Midnight Circus, and ever since I was a little kid, I think since I was born, we've been traveling around Chicago parks and bringing people together in their communities and raising money to help fund park improvements and stuff like that.
That's awesome.
And our whole motto is when good things are happening in the parks, bad things are, and we go all around Chicago. And Chicago is, it's a city that is so beautiful and rich and has so much history, but it also is hurting now more than ever. So I think it's really important that we have the circus to bring people together. But what's so great about it is we bring in all these really high level acrobats from all around the world, and they come into this small single ring circus tent with probably about 500 people in the tent, not many. And and we put on this really high level show, but it's so intimate. You're literally, looking. You can make out the lines on people's faces.
That's awesome.
From the ring. And what's so great about it is because it's so intimate, you really feel like you become friends with each and every one of the audience members, and you create this personal bond. So yeah, I guess to answer your question, they do follow you just like you follow them throughout life. And it's become this whole, I feel like you create a bond. So with the whole circus thing, yeah, there are definitely people who are fans of the circus, and they come in and they watch Lost in Space, and then they come to the circus and they're like, hey, we love your show. And I'm like, oh my gosh, thanks for coming to the circus, first off. Yeah, so you really get to meet all these people through the circus and through Lost in Space. So it's this really good symbiotic kind of relationship. So yeah, I feel like you follow each other wherever you go because the circus is so intimate and because it is so close.
Well, and so funny that you mentioned the intimacy and sort of the family nature of it, because what is that? Like, that's Lost in Space. You know what I mean? That's the theme. It's all about family. And I feel like there's so many parallels between the circus life and circus performers and the family there, and traveling around, right? Just like the Robinson family, and the colonists all traveling around together. So cool. You do have fans in the chat right now that know the circus. Joel Wetier said Midnight Circus is the best circus ever. Joel's checking in. Honey Badger 3 said the show is so well done. The effects, the acting, the plot, the script, the love. I will miss the show, but I'm proud to watch it. So people are super stoked right now in the chat. I want to get to some of our fan questions. There's a ton of them that came in even prior to this panel. We're trying to get to as many that were submitted on Instagram and then also live as we can with Maxwell Jenkins. Let's start at the beginning. This is from Bruna in Space. You talked about how Lost in Space is your life essentially, or has become your life. What was it like when you found out that you were chosen to play Will in the series? It's a question from Bruna in Space.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that when I found out, okay, I'll go over the whole story.
Go for it.
So we were in Toronto. Oh, well, first let me talk about how I auditioned for the role of Will Robinson. So I came home from school one day, and I walked into my mom's room, and on her dresser thing, I saw this script, like these sides, and I started flipping through, and I was like, oh my gosh, this kid Will Robinson, he gets a robot. This is so cool. The family's so close. Spaceship, spacesuit. What? This is my dream. I grew up a Star Trek fan and a Star Wars fan.
Nice.
I grew up a sci-fi fan in general. So reading this, I was like, oh my gosh, who is this kid? He's so cool. And then I asked my mom about it, and she said, oh, that's a script for Lost in Space. It's some show that I think my brothers used to watch back in the 60s, they're remaking it for Netflix, but it's already overdue. 2 weeks ago, they asked for the auditions, so I guess it's over. And I said, oh my gosh, Mom, what? No. I get the Iron Giant. I get a spacesuit. I get a spaceship. So she was like, okay, we'll see. So we went on tape 2 weeks late, and then I get called back for a callback, and it's in LA, and we didn't really hear about anything for, I think it was like a month or a month and a half after that. And then I'm at the premiere for this film I did with Gerard Butler called A Family Man. And I get the call from my manager, and she says, danger, Will Robinson.
Yes.
You're going to be the next Will Robinson on Netflix, Lost in Space. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is awesome. But most importantly, what color is my spacesuit going to be? Because it has to be blue to throw homage to Spock.
Oh, that's awesome.
I'm a huge Spock fan.
And not red. You don't want a red one.
No, not blue is the top. And then maybe we can fit in some yellow in there if they don't want to do blue. But red is a deal breaker. I'm not doing it if it's red.
That's so awesome. My man, you mentioned Iron Giant. What a good parallel story as well. A boy and his robot, right? Such a great, and I love that the new Lost in Space, and I know a lot of fans will agree, really focus on that part of the storyline. Because in the original TV show, it was like very the whole family, and not that the whole family's not involved in the TV show, but it really does center around your character and the robot and the connection that they have. And one of my favorite lines from season 2 is when they say, when you say every kid wants a robot, because that's true. You know what I mean? Like Will's like, of course, every kid grows up wanting a robot. Sure. What was it like seeing the robot for the first time? I know it's a combination of like practical effects and special effects, but talk a little bit about just acting with the robot.
Yeah, so I guess that is definitely one of the more memorable parts of this whole Lost in Space journey.
Yeah.
is meeting the robot. I had been anticipating it for so long, and I remember getting to Vancouver in 2017. I was 11 years old. I was so homesick. I had never been to Vancouver before, really, and it was rainy because it was in the winter, and I was just so homesick. I missed my sister. I missed my dogs. I missed my dad, and I got there like 2 weeks before we started filming for pre-production, just to bank hours of school.
Sure.
And then one day, Zach Estrin knocks on my door. He goes, knock, knock, knock. Hey, dude, do you want to go meet the robot? And I was like, what? And he goes, yeah, do you want to go meet the robot? Awesome. So I said, is that even a question? So we run over to this like small, tiny warehouse that's on the studio lot. And we walk in, the lights are all off. And I think we were waiting there for a little bit and then around the corner comes this like glowing face and blue suit, and it's just, and at the time I was so short that he had to bend down and like get in front of he had to like go on one knee, and he did like the ET phone home thing. And it was so cool. Oh my gosh. That was like, as soon as I saw that robot, I was like, wow, this is going to be something special, because it's such you can tell how much work they put into that robot. And I think that goes to show for the entire show. I hope so. And I feel that way. And I think from that moment, I saw how hard people were willing to work to make something special. And that was one of the moments I knew, like, wow, we're doing something cool here. We're doing something really cool here.
Yeah, and I know I can speak for a lot of the fans on the audience. We felt the same way watching it. The second you see the robot for the first time, I mean, obviously when he transforms for the first time, it becomes like what we know as the robot. And then to see the face and like how much they animate there. I mean, shout out to the production team. My gosh, like all the CGI folks, the costume designers, the set designers. That really is one of the best parts of the show. Is you feel like you're being transported to these other worlds, which is.
That's what's so cool about, I also want to mention our VFX team as well.
Yeah.
They, oh my gosh, filming Lost in Space, especially the first season, because we hadn't seen any renderings of what anything was going to look like. We didn't even know what the spaceship would look like from the outside.
That's funny.
We didn't know what the future would look like.
Yeah.
But I remember filming it, and my mom was on the phone with my dad, and he goes, so how's it going? And she goes, yeah, it's going good. I mean, it just doesn't seem like a lot happens, because we hadn't seen any VFX. So we didn't know, like, we were just like pretending to see giant alien robots that were actually just tennis balls on sticks.
Oh my gosh.
So and it was such a fun experience, but we had no idea what anything was going to look like. So watching Lost in Space is a totally different thing than filming it, and getting to see, like, oh my gosh, there's an alien right there. That wasn't there before. Whoa. There's a giant four-armed alien robot that's trying to blow my heart out of my chest with electricity. That wasn't there before. So yeah, that was really cool. That was really cool getting to see the VFX. So shout out to the VFX team. Jabbar, you are a genius.
Yeah, my God, the VFX team. But then also, I guess, shout out to the writers and directors, right, for being able to kind of craft that.
Shout out everybody all day.
Yeah, shout out everybody. No, it's a great series, and we're sad to see that it go. And I want to talk a little bit about season 3 in a few minutes. But awesome that it's able to tell its story and kind of go out on its own terms, and tell the arc that was meant to be from the beginning. So that's so cool. I want to get to this one question really quick because we talked a lot about Will and really the series centering around Will and the robot, and always, no matter what happens, it always comes back to the family first, obviously the Robinson family, but then also Will and the robot. This comes from Stick Together, and also Maxwell Lost in Space asked a similar question. But what do you think? Why do you think Will is a unique role model, and what can people learn from watching his journey? And then Maxwell Lost in Space says, what do you love most about the character? So maybe you can kind of talk both about those. Okay. What do you love about his character, his arc in the story, and then what do you love as an actor, kind of in your portrayal of him?
Sure, yeah. I guess what makes Will so great is why, what makes Will so great is I feel like with sci-fi shows, there's always a main protagonist who has some sort of powers or something like that, or like superior intellect or superior strength, stuff like that. But what's so nice about Will Robinson, what's so great about him, I think, is, I think his superpower is his empathy. Yeah. Something that I think everybody could use nowadays is a bit more empathy, and a bit more, respect and compassion for each other. And that's what Will Robinson really has. That's why he was able to make this bond with his robot. And that's why he's able to, really, even though he may not be the leader of the family, he definitely is the inspiration to them. And he always has that hope. And I think that is something really admirable about Will Robinson, and something that I've been trying to learn from him. I think we all try and be the best that we can on any given day. And, that's a really hard thing to do. And Will Robinson does it really great. He does it with flying colors, and I think that's what I love so much about the character and getting to play the character, is that I've learned so much from Will Robinson. Yeah. And obviously, I'd be lying if I said I was ready to, say goodbye to Will, say goodbye to the Robinsons. But I'm just really glad that it happened and that I was able to learn so much from Will Robinson as a character, because I think, and I hope that for the people watching all around the world, I hope that they were able to take away one or two things from Will Robinson as well, because I feel like with acting, it's not just, a job or a hobby or anything like that. It is, it's something else. For me, it's a way to I feel like it's kind of a way of giving back to the world. Everyone who watches the show has been so gracious, so supportive. And, what I love about Will Robinson is because he is such an empathetic character, and because he is written so well, and because he is, just Will Robinson from the get-go with Bill Mooney has always been that admirable character, the one you can look up to and really feel inspiration from. I think that is something really great about Will Robinson, and something really great about playing him is I've been able to learn from him and grow from him, and hopefully I can give back through him and with the lessons that I've learned from him as well.
Good answer, Maxwell Jenkins. Man, the fans are loving it. They're like, he's so mature and he's got this. That is beautiful. And I think that's it at the end of the day. And I love how the show, everyone's got their like assets right to the team, and that's how they're judged on paper. And it's such a cool part of this storyline that Will isn't supposed to go, but because, his mom kind of gets him there, and then he really becomes the person everyone turns to, that you can't quantify empathy, right? You can't quantify hope. It's not in a test. He just feels it and he exudes it. Oh, so beautiful. I love it.
Something that I feel like I've learned about from growing up in the American public school system, especially the Chicago public school system, is you are not defined by a score. Yeah. However many standardized tests they throw at you. And I think that's a really big thing that you see with teenagers now. And I'm so glad that I've been able to grow up with Will and do multiple seasons, because with the third season, I'm older, I look older, I feel older, and Will Robinson thusly is going to be older and more mature.
Sure.
We're going to bring him in a whole new level, and I'm really excited about that. And I think that's what's so great, is because now, teenagers, especially in this day and age, are, with the whole pandemic and everything going on in our world right now, it's really stressful times. And I think teenagers are really feeling the brunt of that a little bit. And
sure.
I really love Will Robinson in the aspect of he isn't defined by any standardized test, no grades. He's not defined by what others think of him and whether he's supposed to be in the situation or not. He makes do with what he has, and he always is hopeful and sees the good in people. And, I like that other teenagers around the world are going to be able to see him now more than ever and be like, oh, wow, that kid, same age as me, and he's doing all this. I hope that teenagers can kind of find some solace in Will, I guess.
Yeah, that's so awesome. Just as you're saying it, fans are saying the same thing. IQ 8PS, that I think Will Robinson's a very motivating person, one of the characters that is a leader no matter what, how the decision that he makes affects, because of his empathetic and hopeful nature, which is so cool. And speaking of your young fans, we actually have Emily, who's 10, who's a huge fan, tuning in from California. And, we talked a little bit about what you learned from Will, but what did their question is, what did you, Maxwell, learn most about yourself while filming this series?
Oh my gosh. Gosh, that's a really hard one. That's a great question.
So
wow, 10 years old, I was not thinking that deep. I'm just saying. I guess, wow, I've never had that question before.
Or maybe not even as deep necessarily, or just like what, as an actor you'll take from it.
I think that's a great question.
Yeah.
I guess what I learned about myself while filming Lost in Space playing Will Robinson is to always speak your truth, and to always be honest, because this applies for acting and being in everyday life, I feel like.
Sure.
But I'll talk about it for acting in this first part. In order, to portray Will Robinson, I feel like for any role that I look at and take the approach with, it's come at it in the most honest way possible, and really speak your truth through the character.
That's awesome.
I learned to, because if you're not speaking your truth, then the character's not speaking his truth, and then it's not as good as it could be. So pour your heart and soul into everything that you do, and to always give it 100%. I feel like, coming into Will Robinson, I've never had, I feel like, as much of an intense experience where I've met so many people and so many kind people willing to work their hardest. And being on Lost in Space, seeing all those people, that's just been kind of insane to see all those people work so hard and give their all to it. And if there's anything I've taken away from being around them is to do the same, and to pour anything you have into making that character really honest and truthful. And that's applied to me in my everyday life, where, at the end of the day, you have to speak your truth, and you have to be honest with yourself, and you have to be honest with the world around you. So yeah, that's what I really learned about myself filming Will Robinson. And I think that's another trait that Will Robinson has that I think is so great, is that he is honest, and he is candid, and he is truthful, and he is open-hearted to anyone he meets. He's never closed off. His heart is his superpower. It's always open. He's always speaking his truth, and that is something that I've learned about myself. This journey is that always be open to everything.
That's so cool. His heart is his superpower. I love that quote. You mentioned being inspired around everyone surround you. My gosh, let's talk about the rest of this cast. Obviously, Molly Parker, Toby Stevens, Taylor Russell, Mina Sunwell, Ignacio, so hilarious, Parker Posey, Brian Steele. I mean, that's just the name. That's just like the main cast, you know. I'm not asking you to pick your favorite, Maxwell, or this fan is not asking you to pick your favorite, but Maxwell.Lost in Space was just curious about who on set originally like inspired you the most or continues to inspire you on set.
Oh gosh. You know, I feel like that is a great question. And I think it really depends on what kind of thing you're talking about, I guess.
Sure.
You know, I've learned so much from everybody on set. Being the youngest on a show, you don't always, you know, from being a kid on set, it's sometimes hard to get your voice heard, I guess, especially being surrounded by adults, but I've never felt that way on Lost in Space. And Lost in Space has, you know, Molly has really been the mama bear on set. Awesome. She's always made sure that she's looking out for all of us, especially the kids on set, and not just the kids on set, though. I mean, well, do you count Toby as an adult or a kid? No, but yeah, Molly's definitely been the mama bear on set and always made sure that we're all taken care of and feel supported and heard. And Molly's been super, you know, inspirational, and so is Toby, and Toby's always there to make sure you're having a good time and always feeling loose. And cool. Not to mention, Toby is honestly one of the best actors I've ever gotten to work with.
So
that was, you know, people are starting to wrap for Lost in Space. I'm not done yet. I have a few more days left. But Toby had his wrap a few days ago, and that was definitely one of the hardest goodbyes I've ever had to do, for sure. And I wasn't really expecting it until it happened, and that's just how much every single person has meant to me on Lost in Space. But yeah, everybody has taught me so much. But in the first season, I would say, you know, a lot of my scenes were with Parker. And you know, Will Robinson and Dr. Smith, that's an iconic relationship. That's an iconic friendship and an iconic rivalry in a sense. Antagonist, protagonist kind of deal.
Sure.
So that was learning from Parker is honestly like a once in a lifetime opportunity. She's just so talented. You know, that's part of where I learned, you know, speak your truth, and always be honest, because Parker really comes at it with an open mind, and she comes at it with real energy to make the scene as best as it could be. Yeah. Also, something that I've learned is always be 100% prepared in your character, ready to go for whatever the day brings for you. That's just what Parker brings to the set every day, and I think it really gets everybody going on set and ready to go. And filming scenes with her is really fun. It's always an adventure, and it's really fun.
I can imagine.
Yeah, she's a genius. But I've learned so much from everybody. Also getting to, you know, I feel like because I'm a kid on set, I've definitely grown, but I feel like we've all grown on set, and
sure.
We've become a family. So that's what's been so great, getting to see how you can choose your family, you know, and you know, of course, this is coming to an end. I'm really bummed, but you know, we've spent the past 4 years together, and we've become brothers, sisters, uncles, brothers. I said brothers already. Space dads, space moms, aunts.
Space dads.
So it's been, you know, I've learned so much from everybody, just like you do in a family. But yeah, Molly has been Mama Bear. Toby has always been there to make sure you feel comfortable and happy and ready to go on set. Ignacio is literally a big brother to me.
Oh, yeah, he's awesome.
I've learned so much from him, not just how to be on set, but also how to be in life. Ignacio always comes at things with a smile, with love, with heart, with gratitude, with all the qualities that you wanna see in a person. That's what Ignacio has. He's really opened up his life to me. I feel like, you know, he's taken me on hikes for 6 hours on end, which totally broke my ankles, but I would not take it back for the world. And yeah, Ignacio's really taught me to be open about everything and to love everybody. And gosh, I've just learned so much from everybody, but those are really the main things.
That's awesome. So Ignacio is Don West, is what we're saying here.
Oh gosh, Ignacio Don West. Well, like he is his character.
That's so funny. He was on, he came on because he was in the final seasons of Bones. So he came on with the Bones cast. And oh my God, I remember at the time, he was so excited because I think they had just announced that you guys were going back to set. This was like in the summer, around. And he was so stoked. He loves the show so much. So shout out to all of the amazing cast members. My gosh. So good. Darcy of Pemberley, we've been talking about getting back to filming. Darcy of Pemberley specifically asked about the next season filming. A lot of people are chatting in the comments about it as well. Sofia Costa Acevedo says petition for the show to have 30 more seasons. 30's a lot, but yeah, no, at least we want at least 5 more. But talk a little
by the time we finish it or something.
Yeah, that'd be hilarious. We just like reboot it again, like Will is back to just being the father. Talk a little bit about coming back. I mean, it's been a crazy year, and I know as fans, we want people to be safe, right? We want actors and the crew and everyone to be safe, but we also want we can't wait for new content to come back, especially Lost in Space. So talk a little bit about coming back to filming and how that's been, and then your break here, and then kind of what you have left.
Yeah, being a fan myself, I'm always looking for new Lost in Space content as well. I feel like
sure.
Reading the scripts is like it's like Christmas morning.
That's awesome.
But yeah, so filming in 2020, in a pandemic, among many other things going on, it's always an adventure, but well, not always an adventure. It's the first time we've done it, but yeah, filming in 2020 during a pandemic has been a totally unique experience. I'm really proud and inspired by our safety teams, by our production, by our producers, by everybody. It's been a real effort to come back and get this on its feet. We were supposed to come back in May or June. We ended up coming back in August, doing the quarantine, and started filming in September.
Yeah.
Starting off with a quarantine, that was not very fun. Me and my family had kind of done that whole quarantine thing, but at least we still had our backyard and stuff.
Sure.
But we were out here in Vancouver, and we didn't have a backyard in our quarantine spot. So we were kind of inside for a full 2 weeks. And that was, that's a heck of a way to start things. But, even though we came back and everyone was in masks and you only saw this of people. You only got to see that.
Yeah.
I feel like I didn't miss a beat, and I didn't miss any of the emotion, because what's so great about Lost in Space is because it's such an intense thing on the paper and in the script, it becomes this intense bonding retreat for everybody, the cast and the crew. So even though we are all in masks and we all are 6 feet apart from each other, I feel like I haven't missed a beat of any of that.
That's awesome.
Of that emotion that is Lost in Space, of that whole feeling that is Lost in Space, that family. What's also so great is, I'll talk about the testing. We're testing 3 times a week using these dual nasal swabs. So they go like about this far into your nose. It's not bad, but the first time, oh my gosh, I sneezed like maybe 10 times, and they only go in for like 15 to 20 seconds on each nostril. So I was like, so yeah, but I feel like I've built up a tolerance for that, and I think I have calluses on the inside of my nose.
How often is it? Every day or every few days?
Every other day. So we
every
test
other day.
Wednesday and Friday.
My gosh.
Yeah, pretty brutal. But because of that, we've been able to feel confident and safe while filming this.
Sure.
So I'm really impressed by everybody, and I just want to express my gratitude that everybody's been able to accomplish something so special under these crazy times. Filming in a pandemic is no small feat. I feel like it's definitely more emotionally taxing because everyone is on edge a little bit.
Yeah.
But what's so great about what's so great about Lost in Space is that because we all become this family while filming, because we all become so close, you almost forget about the pandemic for a second and you just adapt. Also, something interesting I've noticed though, everybody's wearing a mask, but at a certain point you kind of forget about the masks and fill in people's faces. Being around for so long and seeing the same people with like the masks on, and oftentimes, because we have like a specific set of rules on what type of masks you're allowed to wear.
Sure.
Oftentimes people wear like the same type of masks, so you kind of get this universal feeling for people, and you fill in the blanks here and there. But then you'll be walking down the street, and you'll be walking down the parking lot of the studio, and they have this kind of outside area, like picnic table that one person can go at. And you see some people there and you're like, whoa, your nose is different. Hold on, when did that happen? It's like, you totally don't look like I thought you would look like. So it's kind of weird to see how you fill in the blanks and forget about the masks until you see their actual face and you're like, whoa.
That's so funny. That's so awesome. Well,
honestly, there are like 3 directors this year who I don't know what they look like.
Yeah, because they never, only the actors really get to take them off, right? Like when you're doing the scene.
Yeah, only the actors. Those are the only people in the entire day who are able to take their masks off for the scene.
Yeah, that's such an interesting.
After that, we're immediately back to the N95s.
Oh my gosh. Well, I mean, again, we thank you for going back to work, and we thank the crew and all of the cast, because we can't wait to see season 3. Really quick break. We're almost out of time, Max. This has been so amazing already, but I want to get to a few more fan questions. But for those of you who are watching, remember, you can take part in those one-on-one video chats with Max. So if you've got questions that didn't get answered today, or you want to just kind of hang out with Max in a Zoom unto yourself, head to wizardworldvirtual.com or wizardworldvault.com for those one-on-one chats, which will take place next week. So whether you're watching this live or throughout the week, because we have a lot of people that watch on their own time throughout the week, we thank you for being here, and definitely take advantage of those experiences, especially since Max has a cool announcement about where the proceeds are going to go for those, which we'll talk about in a sec. But I just want to get to season 3, and this comes from fan Ton Brewer. And Ton started very specifically with no spoilers, because that just ruins it. We don't want spoilers. But the question is more of like, what are you most excited about, or are you happy with the conclusion of the storyline? Is it what you expected?
First off, what's up, Tom? Good to see you. Second off, gosh, going into a final season, I've never really done a show that's done multiple seasons other than Sense8. Sure. But I've never been like I've never been part of the main cast for a show that's done up to 3 seasons, and I sure have never felt this emotional bond to my character as much as I have for Will Robinson. Yeah. I feel like Will Robinson's become a part of my everyday life, not just filming when I'm filming Lost in Space every year and a half, but Will Robinson I carried with me throughout my daily life, I feel like. And, going into the last season, knowing it was the last season, first off, I'm so grateful that Netflix was able to tell us, hey, this is the final one, just so you know. But obviously you never know what happens. Like, if the fans want more, who knows? But hopefully, I'm fingers crossed.
They do. Just there's a lot of chatter about petitions and crowdfunding. So yeah, we definitely.
I'll sign every single one of them. DM them.
Nice.
No, but yeah, going into this final season, you have all these ideas like, oh my gosh, I hope it's going to be as good. I hope it does my character justice. I hope it does that. All the whole spiel kind of deal. And getting the final episode, because we hadn't gotten the final episode until maybe episode 6 or 7
of this season of filming. Oh my god!
Yeah. Wow. But now I know why, because it is so big and it is so amazing. This whole season itself is really great, and I'm trying to work around all the spoilers because it's so hard not to tell you guys. It is just so cool. But yeah, growing up with Will Robinson, because I've spent middle school and into halfway of high school as Will Robinson, so that growing up as Will Robinson, with Will Robinson, getting to grow the character, I really was wanting to end this right for Will Robinson, and the way that Matt, Burke, Zach, all the guys on the all the guys in the writers' room, the way that they pulled it in and grabbed every single element from Will Robinson, from the show, and brought it in to this closing thing is just really beautiful. I'm so excited for you guys to see it. So excited for you guys to see the growth of Will Robinson this season. Definitely a whole new person. And it's just so cool. I'm so excited for you guys to see it without any spoilers. Going your way. But to answer your question, I am just so beyond stoked for this final season.
That's so cool.
And I'm not just saying that, like not coming from an actor, but coming from a fan of the show. I am just so stoked for what Will Robinson gets to do this season, what Will Robinson gets to see, what he gets to become. It's just so cool, and I can't wait for you guys to see it.
Max, you're doing an excellent job because you're saying your excitement, and you're showing us your excitement, but saying it very vaguely, which is the perfect way to answer that question. You're like, I'm excited what he's going to see. I'm excited what he's going to do.
Spaceships. I'll just leave it there. Spaceships, spacesuits, robot, and alien kind of deal, I guess. Like every season, alien planet spaceness.
I like it. Spaceships, spacesuits, and robots. The true story of Lost in Space. Well, okay, people won't. The fans are they're talking right now. People are like equally like stoked, but also so sad, and like everyone's gonna cry. But people really want to know the most important question, probably of this entire panel, Maxwell, is what is the deal with the goat? All everyone is chatting about right now is the goat, and the goat. Everyone is talking about that. It was mentioned in that there's a goat, the season 3 goat. I don't know.
What is the first?
What goat?
No comment on the goat. Okay?
No comment. You heard it.
The goat.
You heard it here first, everybody. There are spaceships,
maybe Zach knows something I don't know.
Suits, robots, but there's nothing about the goat. I think it came from like some live interview.
Oh gosh, Zach
yeah.
something wrong again?
Zach might have messed up. Grace is like, guys, the goat is important. Maybe he was just referring to like greatest of all time. Like this show is the greatest of all time. The show is the goat. Maxwell is the goat. That was probably what it is.
No, Mike is the goat.
I'm here to announce everybody that I am playing the goat in season 3.
We built an amazing prosthetic suit deal. I don't know the exact terms. We built it for Mike. He's the goat in season 3.
It's pretty fun. I'm the goat in season 3. So get ready, everybody. A lot of fans want to know Nyler's 1992, Lindsay Rilano. They say you have a really bright future ahead of you, Maxwell. What is next for you? What are your goals? What are your dreams kind of moving after Lost in Space wraps?
Wow, that's I'm really looking forward to, Lost in Space has been an amazing journey for me. I'm really excited to take the lessons that I've learned from Lost in Space and apply them to future roles. Immediately after Lost in Space, I'm looking at finishing up the 3rd quarter of high school remotely.
Nice.
Which has been an adventure, filming while doing online classes, bopping into Zoom classes here and there when I can. But yeah, I'm really excited to, with Lost in Space, I feel like I've gotten to do a lot of it of everything. I've gotten to do green screen. I've gotten to do, drama and family, and I've gotten to do sci-fi and spaceships, but also I've gotten to do these intimate moments with, family members, with friends, like the robot and everything. So I'm really looking forward to taking all the lessons that I've learned and that all my, co-actors have taught me. And I'm really excited to take that on to future roles, whatever it may be in the future. I'm just really looking forward to, finding something else that is as meaningful as Will Robinson and bringing it out to you guys. But in the immediate future, at least for as far as, the next month or so goes, I'm going to be doing the 3rd quarter of online school in my bedroom in Chicago while it's snowing, which is going to be great.
Yeah, you go from filming these epic action sequences on a faraway planet in spacesuits against robots and aliens, and then have to transition to online math.
That's what's so weird about after every season. This happens after every season. Trying to adjust to normal life.
Yeah.
Not having breakfast in your trailer, which is a really good bonus of being on set. I remember after the first season, I was in bed and my sister was up, and I walking around, and I called her over and said, Sam, can you grab me like a breakfast burrito or something and bring it in bed? And she was like, no, who do you think you are? Go downstairs and make one. So that was like kind of like a, wow, I'm gonna have to get used to this again. But no, definitely that is such a weird transition, getting used to normal life again. But at least, after the first and second season, I knew that I would be going back. And I would be going back to basically my second home, to Jupiter. And it kind of hasn't hit me yet that we're not going back. I feel like just because I'm not done filming yet. I got a few more days, and I guess it won't fully hit me until the show drops, I think. Yeah. But for sure, when I take off my spacesuit, it's definitely going to be like, leaving a part of me behind. But I'm really excited to, take something else from Lost in Space, bring it with me into something new. But yeah, gosh, it's so weird getting back into real life. Oh my God, I'm not looking forward to it. Let's just leave it that way.
Speaking of taking things, you said take your spacesuit. When the shows end, actors like to steal things from set. Lost in Space wants to know if you've gotten anything yet, or if you're planning. Don't worry, no one's watching this except hundreds of people from around the world. So, no. Do you have any plans or anything you'd like to take from set? Maybe the nice little. Your model of the robot.
You know what? So at the end of this, I sent a list of like the stuff that I want to the department heads.
That's awesome.
And I'm just trying to. I know about as much as you guys do about how much I'm taking home this year. Absolute zilch, as far as I know. I'm trying to figure things out. But
sure.
After it wraps, and if I do have anything, I'll let you guys know for sure.
That's awesome. Well, I know you're super active on Instagram and social media and Twitter. So keep an eye on Maxwell Jenkins' social media accounts. We'll see. Lindsay Arellano just said, "Wait, Max, steal the goat," but we're not talking about the goat anymore.
I'll take the goat. I'll fly it out to you, Lindsay.
We are out of time. This was such a treat. People are wishing you well in school right now in the chat as well, and wishing you the best. And we're so excited to see season 3 in 2021. Again, as a reminder, Max will be doing those one-on-one video chats, video recorded messages, and autographs throughout the week. So definitely take advantage of those at wizardworldvault.com. I mentioned this briefly before. You talked about not only your circus and your family circus helps the area of Chicago, but you are giving a ton of your proceeds to a very special charity, the Friendship Center in Chicago. So many people are mentioning how humble you are, and then to do this as well is so awesome that you're giving your money to charity. Tell us a little bit about the Friendship Center Chicago, why you chose them, and where we can find out more about them.
Yeah, so the Friendship Center of Chicago is a beautiful city, as I mentioned before, but it is hurting, especially now more than ever. And a great organization that my family is actually very close with, and that we've taken part with over the years is the Friendship Center of Chicago. And their whole mission is to provide food and resources to the family of Chicago, provide love, and like all food banks and resource banks throughout the world right now, and especially in the United States, they have their numbers of people visiting have skyrocketed. And so the Friendship Center of Chicago is our local food bank in Chicago, and they serve countless families around Chicago and our neighborhood. And Chicago means so much to me as a city. It's given me so much. I feel like this is one small way to give back to the city. And so many people, I'm really lucky right now during this pandemic. My family is here with me, and we're really being taken care of by production, but not many families are. Not a lot more families than should be are hurting right now. And the Friendship Center of Chicago is really making sure that each and every person that comes to their door is being taken care of. And it's really important that I feel like that we make sure that remains a possibility for these families out there. So I'll be giving away a ton of my proceeds to the Friendship Center of Chicago. They're a really great organization. You should totally check them out if you guys can.
That's so cool. Well, thank you for that. And so just know, with those purchases, we know times are tough, but it's a nice, treat heading into the new year. And just know that most of your money is going to a good cause as well. So definitely hang out with Max next week. A couple quick housekeeping things. We are Wizard World Virtual Experiences. This has been such an awesome treat. This is our last official panel of 2020, but we'll be back in 2021. Again, we're doing that fun QVC style giveaway show on Monday night. So join us for that. But then we'll be back on January 2nd with the cast of the originals. We have Harvey Gann from What We Do in the Shadows on January 9th, in addition to Ash versus Evil Dead cast. And then Dolph Lundgren joining us on January 30th. And we have a bunch of exciting announcements. So continue to follow us at Wizard World on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. My name's Mike G. You can follow me if you want at Mike G Does Things. This was such a treat, Max, to hang out with you. Shout out to all the fan groups. We had a ton of fan groups in the chat, but specifically at Only Maxwell Jenkins and at lostinspace.designs, who helped us promote this, and everyone else who submitted their questions. I know I shouted out your names throughout the panel. This has been so much fun. You can stream seasons 1 and 2 of Lost in Space on Netflix right now. It's the perfect time to watch it for the first time or binge it for the second time. And we will keep our fingers crossed when we get that announcement of 2021. Season 3 of Lost in Space. Spaceships, spacesuits, robots, and maybe a goat. Maybe a goat. Maybe a goat. Max,
definitely a chicken. Definitely a chicken.
Definitely a chicken. Oh, Debbie. We love Debbie. Max, final just shout out to the fans. Again, we have people watching from around the globe. I want to have you sort of end it with just a final thank you to all the fans watching.
Dude, it'd be my honor. I just want to say thank you guys so much. These past 4 years have meant the absolute world to me, and that's largely because of you guys. So thank you guys so much for all your support, your continued support, and all the love that you've given to the show and to my family. So stay safe out there, guys. Love you all. Thank you.
Awesome. One more big round of emojis for Will Robinson, everybody. Maxwell Jenkins. Let's hear it for we do this right, Max. We do this right. This has been Wizard World Virtual Experiences. Happy New Year, everybody, and happy holidays. We'll see you next time.
Bye, guys.